welcome everyone to this installment of TCW House Show, and I'm glad that you joined me on this glorious Sunday or whenever you happen to watch. You must be wondering, what's the special occasion? Well, let me tell you. Today I saw Creed 2, and definitely I would recommend it, and inspired me to jump on the stick, so to speak, and book some top-tier TCW moments for you all to enjoy, and I hope you are doing such. As Hiroshi, Haas, and Tiger Mask are going to mix it up in the squared circle, all for a chance to make the official TCW roster. And that is what is at stakes. Not only are they looking for a victory here, but another tremendous performance to impress the Scouts. I know I'm pulling for them. I hope that you do as well. So as I was saying, Creed 2 in theaters. If you were a fan of any of the Rocky movies or Creed 1, definitely recommend it. It's worth a watch. They did some pretty neat stuff. Michael B. Jordan was amazing. Sly was great. And Dolph Lundgren reprised his role as Ivan Drago. So, for any super fans of Rocky 4, it's a must-see, so to speak. But back to the action at hand. As stated previously, we have two competitors here, both trying to make their way onto the TCW roster. Haas and Tiger Mask. And a look through the archives will give you a good idea as to what these two are capable of. They have been on a few other house shows prior, and Hiroshi is starting to taunt already, and it is much too early for that. This is a rematch, actually, of last night, in which Tiger Mask was able to pull off the victory, but you know that Hiroshi Haas has to be looking to erase that loss from his record and impress the Scouts by bouncing back here tonight. And a nice side headlock there by Tiger Mask. Both competitors have had their ups and downs on TCW house shows, but for sure this is really a two competitors who are on the bubble and have to impress by any means necessary. And a tremendous suplex there. You can tell both of these competitors have great stamina, great explosiveness, and agility. And they get to mix it up once again. And a tremendous submission attempt there by Hiroshi Haas. It's a different take, so to speak, on the STF, as the bridge allows you to put more stress on the neck of your competitor. And we saw this just last night from Tiger. He went to the top rope over and over, but Hiroshi trying to take a page out of Tiger Mask's book. And now a sharpshooter applied to Tiger Mask, and this could be trouble. Tiger Mask goes for a pin there. And my goodness, I thought he might be able to pull it off in surprising fashion. And another flying headbutt by Tiger Mask. And again, but this one he comes up short. Thrust kick attempt by Hiroshi Haas. But look at the kicks. Tiger Mask well suited, well versed in wow, what a release German. But Hiroshi to his feet before Tiger. Now he drops some knees from the top. And clearly Hiroshi has more to lose, in that this loss would very well completely eliminate him from contention of being picked up by TCW as he lands a Uranagi on the outside. Tiger could stand to lose this match and not be completely out of contention, but as said earlier, both competitors are on the bubble.
10 minutes gone.
And what a kick there. Almost an overhead Pele kick, or a bicycle kick of sorts. And a low drop kick there by Hiroshi. And I mean, he is just so freakishly athletic. He has the ability to pull off kicks that you really wouldn't be able to pull off without the same amount of athleticism or training. And look at that. A full Nelson German into the bridge. And now a Northern Lights. Hiroshi's suplexes are on full display so far, and really making Tiger Mask work to stay into this matchup. But work he does. And look at that. Able to just careen through the air, spin, and connect a brutal kick with momentum. And look at that. Wow, what a reversal, and he gets the submission victory. And my goodness, what a rivalry we have developed here on TCW's house show loop. So now they are tied 1 apiece in their series of matchups. Perhaps we will need to have our rematch to determine who the better competitor is, and it was definitely a hot display there to start off the show. Up next, gonna switch it up stylistically, as Harley Race is going to take on Terry Funk in match 2 of this this house show, which should certainly be a very rough, tough, and snug matchup between two all-time greats, two of the toughest to ever lace them up. And what excites me the most is that you know for a fact these two competitors are top tier. They've done well so far on the house shows, but they just need that one marquee win to really establish themselves into being a shoo-in, so to speak, to be picked. And let me tell you, this one is going to be a really tight, compelling matchup. I can tell you that already. Both competitors looking to impress the scouts. Harley Race main evented 2 house shows now, but lost to Giant Baba last night in the main event, and Flair 2 nights ago in a steel cage match. He can't let his momentum slide. Funk, on the other hand, beat Jerry Lawler in match 3 last night in a 5-star contest, tied for match of the night between Gotch and Hashimoto. So it will be interesting to see whether Funk can stay on his hot streak or whether Harley Race can turn it around. This, regardless, is going to be a close matchup. Nice shoulder tackle by Harley. He has a slight size advantage. Funker perhaps will have the quickness, but that is yet to be seen. And toughness, as I said, really any man's game. Nice snapmare by Terry Funk. Expect this one to stay grounded. And Harley is not messing around. He has let 2 matches slip through his fingers in short succession, and he cannot get off to a 3-match losing streak while trying to get on the TCW roster. Is not conducive to being drafted, that is for sure.
15, 16.
And he has a baseball bat in hand, and this one could get ugly. He is not able to use it, but connects with a headbutt on Terry Funk. Perhaps he wanted to draw him in and blinded him with that headbutt. Terry Funk is one of those crazy tough wrestlers who has the ability to use his head as a weapon. And it's not something that you encounter frequently, so it is definitely something on the scouting report that jumps out and something that you want to avoid. But Funk has been hit by it numerous times so far, but he's able to connect with a pile driver, a jumping sit-out variation of the pile driver. But Harley wants to ground it, wants to take Terry Funk's momentum away. I have to be completely honest, I think these two competitors would very much enjoy brawling all night long. Whether the match will go on that long is yet to be seen. But again, these guys are the type of competitors who would rather die than quit, so to speak. And that is a very slick submission there. Try to work on the outside of the knee by pressing it inwards. And that can make you go bull-legged quite quickly. Stretch the ligaments of the knee. And another headbutt by Harley Race. And again, now he's working on the inside of the knee by driving the point of his elbow into it while also perhaps stretching the ligaments on the outside of the knee. And this is what he's been working towards at Boston Crab. He continues to work the legs and now lower back of Terry Funk. Funk is trying to incapacitate Harley, however, with these high impact maneuvers. And a tremendous suplex there by Terry Funk. You know these two competitors have to be well acquainted at this point. Now Harley working the leg of Terry Funk on the outside. It's not going to get him the victory, but it can certainly punish Terry Funk. Both of these men have been in wars when it comes to wrestling matches, and they have to get back in the ring quickly and do. Harley wants to stay on the outside, which is dangerous for both competitors, and a side suplex by Terry Funk. It's gonna absolutely rattle the skeleton of Harley Race as he lands flat on his back on a 1/4 inch of foam mat separating flesh from pavement. And look at that falling headbutt off the top rope. That is definitely a maneuver that can finish the match. It nearly does, but Funk was just barely able, possibly by instinct, able to kick out there. And that's the type of maneuver that can knock you out if you don't see it coming, and even if you do. And he might be trying to land it again, and does. And my goodness, that should be all. But Funk is able to fight through, and these fans are starting to jump to their feet. But they might be witnessing the destruction of Terry Funk. He loves the admiration of these fans. And a moonsault! How many close calls have we seen? Funk seemingly the fan favorite, but they have to respect both competitors after they have laid it all on the line to win this match. Beautiful slam by Harley, and what is he going to set up? And a side suplex to reverse the headlock of Terry Funk. And he might be going for another headbutt, and does, but Funk is on his feet, stalking Harley Race. And what a clothesline by Funk, giving him the room he needs to breathe. But Harley is putting an end to it, a sit-out pile driver. And that's it. Harley Race snaps the losing streak he had accumulated this week and picks up a marquee victory over Terry Funk in a classic matchup. A must-see for certain, and a hard match to follow. Just shy of a perfect match, but definitely one that jumps off the screen and one that the scouts are going to have to look at closer. Both competitors certainly showing no quit whatsoever. And my goodness, I do not feel bad, or I do rather, for Carl Gotch and Rick Rude, as they are going to have to follow that matchup. And I am not sure how you do, but man, kudos to both competitors. That was an absolutely outstanding matchup that I could have watched for the next 30 minutes. But this matchup is a fresh, clean matchup that we have yet to see. And I am excited to find out which competitor is going to take home the victory here. Certainly a battle of the mustache going on between Carl Gotch and Rick Rude. Both superstars from different generations. It'll be neat to see just how they clash stylistically. We know Carl Gotch has a signature style, a very mat-based wrestling style, while Rick Rude, more contemporary, a striker, a wrestler, more high impact perhaps, but not far away stylistically than Carl Gotch than you would believe at first glance. Rick Rude will most likely have the strength or agility over Carl Gotch, but Gotch wins the test of strength. I spoke out of turn. Perhaps quickness was the word I'm looking for. It's hard to look at Rick Rude and believe that someone would have the strength advantage over him, but Carl Gotch deceivingly strong. Well, and it seems like it's the curse of the commentator so far. And look at Rude brutalizing Carl Gotch. What a vertical suplex there by Rick Rude. Carl Gotch saying, "Here, let me give you a few pointers, kid." Slams him to the mat. And a very evenly matched test of strength there. Perhaps they got word of what was spreading around at the commentator's desk and want to prove who the stronger competitor is, and you certainly have to believe they want to prove that they are better overall in hopes of getting picked up for the TCW roster. And an eye rake there by Rick Rude. You know he has tactics up his sleeve to work out of disadvantageous situations. And a knee bar applied by Carl Gotch that can completely break your knee and strain the ligaments in the knee if you don't get out of it quickly or tap out. This is a head scissors, I believe, while holding the arm to make it more difficult to break out of the submission. And look at that that's a wrestling clinic. The ability to maneuver into a pin like that, and again he puts on that head scissors, which can make it hard to breathe, especially when you're in a match like this where you're breathing heavy. You're having the blood flow restricted to your head while breathing heavy, and you can easily pass out in that submission before you even realize that you're being choked. Karl Gotch now dropping Rude on the knee, and he's back to the leg. With those submissionists, it's always better to pick a bullseye and really work for it, and it paid off for Karl Gotch as he got the referee stoppage there, as he seemed to have injured the ankle of Rick Rude, and we do hope that he's okay. I mean, he would lay everything on the line to get on the TCW roster, but we hate to see Lady Luck, or Fate rather, take them up on that offer. Hopefully he is able to compete sooner rather than later, but Karl Gotch has a path of reckoning, of destruction rather, of people he has injured. Bruno Sammartino, and now he adds Rick Rude to the list. My goodness, I mean, that's definitely something to look out for. And now we are going to mix it up with some tag team action, as we saw the Brain Busters on TCW house shows not very long ago, as they were fighting in a Survivor Series style matchup against Muta, Naito, Nakamura, and Okada. And that was a matchup in which Ric Flair really went on full display as to what he is capable of in the ring. And they will be going up against Animal and Hawk in tag action. This should be a truly interesting matchup here. Technical prowess against pure power and determination. We have the Brain Busters against the Street Smart Road Warriors. And I really, if I was a betting man, I would not have any idea as to who I would be putting my bets on. Again, this is a huge clash stylistically. And you know that these tag teams are really looking to showcase something special. And the reason for that is they need to take up 2 draft slots if they are to get picked up, which is a hard ask for any GM who is looking to bolster their rosters, but nonetheless can be done if these teams are to show utter dominance and great performance all the while. So the Road Warriors and Brain Busters are going to be looking to stay undefeated in this matchup. The Road Warriors were the team who faced Brody and Stan Hansen and picked up the victory over those 2 TCW competitors. which really leads you to ponder whether they will be picked up after that matchup. I guess we'll have to see. The Brainbusters could easily steal that slot, so to speak, if they are to pick up the win over the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors, considered by some to be the greatest tag team in all of wrestling, certainly in the top 5 of most seasoned wrestling fanatics. The Brainbusters, on the other hand, have a cult following that would consider them to be the best. Their run as half of the Four Horsemen spanned many years, showed utter dominance, and did wonders for their careers. Showed they were able to show their transient nature and ability to compete anywhere when they made the jump to the WWF in the early 90s. Both teams were successful in nearly every promotion they stepped foot. Will they be able to do the same in TCW? And you can tell the power of the Road Warriors is certainly going to come into their favor. Not that it'll be a game breaker, although it could. The Brainbusters are going to have to find a different way to gain the advantage on this tag team. Tully now in with Animal. And if he is able to take the legs out from under these Road Warriors, then and maybe then they will be able to take full advantage. It's certainly a strategy worth exploring. But now that Hawk is in, the Road Warriors are taking the driver's seat. My goodness, they are absolutely laying waste to the Brainbusters on the outside of the ring now. The Road Warriors certainly have a very mean, brutal, and explosive offense. And my goodness, Hawk ran headfirst into the referee and has busted him open, and he might not be okay to continue officiating this matchup. And we do hope that he's okay and able to recover. He did make it to his feet and looks like he's going to power through as he is busted open. And it nearly happened once more. And look, a victory roll by Tully. Just when the Brainbusters seem to get an advantage, one of the Road Warriors absolutely brutalizes them. Look at that release power bomb. Tully going for a pin. Arn was there to watch over, but Tully only got a 1 count. Now Arn is in. Double A, the Enforcer. Let's see if he can salvage this matchup, as the Road Warriors have had the early advantage at least. That's signature Arn Anderson there. You know he wants to work the back over as to set up for that patented spine buster, and Hawk has seen enough. The figure 4 was applied. Maneuver used by their 4 Horsemen stable member Ric Flair. Perhaps he gave him some tips. And look at that. Had him up for the suplex and had him land on his face rather than back. But a running power slam by Animal, and now Hawk is back in. And headbutts by Hawk, who's going to want to finish this matchup before the tides turn. You can tell that the Road Warriors' strength and power advantage has paid dividends, as the Brainbusters have yet to think of a way to outwit and outmaneuver the Road Warriors. Arn is trying to catch up, so to speak, put some damage on Hawk. He's doing a good job, but that pin is not going to garner a 3 count, as Animal is too close and able to break up the pin. And what a suplex there by Hawk, who wants to tag in Animal and let him have a swing at finishing this match. And what a clothesline by Hawk before he collapses. I think Arn is of the mindset that he is going to have to clutch this match, so to speak, because he has not tagged Tully in the last 5 minutes. It's a bold strategy. You have to commend the boldness and the braveness, but strategically it might be a miscalculation on behalf of Arn Anderson. And a double axe handle connects by Animal. Tully has to break this up or his tag partner will suffer dearly. And this has been a massacre of sorts. The Road Warriors have been beating up on the Brainbusters for the last 20 minutes. I'm not sure whether they will be able to weather this storm. And that's it, folks. In dominant fashion, the Road Warriors are able to pick up the victory over the Brain Busters. And that is a scary tag combination for sure, as if there was any doubt that they are the tag to look out for on the TCW house show loop. And up next, we are going to bring it back to singles action, as Shinya Hashimoto is set to take on Ricky Dozan 1-on-1. And I've got to say, these two competitors certainly looked very promising in their past house show competitions. They both were able to pick up big victories in great matches. Last night, Hashimoto over Carl Gotch, who we just recently saw pick up a victory over Rick Rude, and Ricky Dozan over Lou Thez. So this would be a huge victory for either competitor and a great opportunity for both competitors to show off their performance skill. As stated numerous times on prior house shows, you can win, but can you look good doing it? And that is the question that will be answered over the course of these house shows, for certain. And a tremendous chop there by Ricky Dozan. And you are going to see the chops working to their fullest extent on behalf of Ricky Dozan, who is lacking in the size department compared to Hashimoto, but certainly no shortage of strength as he is able to lift him for a Northern Lights suplex there. I think striking wise, it'll be interesting to see who will have the advantage between these two competitors. These absolute legends of Japanese wrestling. And a single leg Boston Crab. Again, we know Hashimoto likes to use his legs as a part of his arsenal on offense, so many of his competitors try to take them out of commission, but it is nearly impossible to take his entire offense away from him. He's very versatile, very explosive, and very difficult to face. And Hashimoto trying to take another aspect of Ricky Dozan's offense out. Chops being such a large portion of his offense in the armbar was applied. I'm not entirely sure if that was his thinking, but it would certainly make sense to injure the arm of Ricky Dozan. And look at those chops. They could split a coconut in half. We're still early in this matchup. They're starting to really feel each other out and ramp up the action, kick it into third and fourth gear. Another single leg Boston Crab. And that certainly won't be the last DDT we see Hashimoto connect with. And what a palm strike there by Ricky Dozan, followed up by a chop. And my goodness, that could have easily ended Hashimoto's night. This is giving Ricky Dozan the opportunity to catch his breath. Same for Hashimoto.
6.
It's almost like the beginning of a new round. And another fantastic chop by Ricky Dozan. Hashimoto respects Ricky Dozan. You can certainly see that, but he is not backing down in the least. And what a sit-out jumping pile driver by Ricky Dozan. And a Samoan drop by Hashimoto. And stinging jabs and hooks send him falling to the mat. This will not be the last Japanese matchup, as we have 2 matches besides this one still left on the card. My oh my. Shinya was just barely able to kick out for the count of 3. And again, just barely sticking in this matchup. Shinya's on the ropes. He's going to need to pull out some offense to stay in this matchup. And a great chop there to the back of the neck. And he thinks it's enough. And it nearly was. But Shinya is showing tremendous resilience. This match would mean a lot to him, as Ricky Dozan is certainly a legend of Japanese wrestling, much like Hashimoto, but before his time. Perhaps one of the wrestlers he looked up to. And a vertical suplex there. Lands in the claw pin. Nearly awarded Shinya the victory. And that's it. Ricky Dozan pulls out the victory over a tough cookie in Shinya Hashimoto. And Ricky Dozan, despite a loss in his initial match on the TCW house show loop, has been hot as of lately and able to show just why he is considered a legend among Japanese stars. And next, we are going to have one of the icons of AJPW going up against a legend of New Japan. As Giant Baba is set to take on the Great Muta. And this is a matchup between TCW stars and a free agent of sorts. Folks, I have no idea who to call in this situation. Obviously, Muta is a part of the TCW roster, so you want to see roster members look strong, but Giant Baba has looked very impressive on the house show loops. As stated, he has defeated Ricky Dozan, who has also been on a tear as of lately. I'm not sure how Muta is going to be able to stay in this matchup, but he has numerous tricks up his sleeves at all times. So, if anyone were to pull it off, my money would be on Muta. The Pearl of the Orient looks confident despite facing a giant in Giant Baba. And a chop. Baba's skull certainly won't be the last chop we see. And that is definitely a style that we see from Baba a lot, that makes perfect sense for a man of his size. He likes to smother his opponents, stay on them as much as possible, as Muta just misses with the mist. And look at that. Baba trying to drain the energy of Muta there with that headlock. Again, trying to smother his opponent, not let their agility get the best of him. And now the boot on the head and torquing the groin and hips of his opponent, and now into an STF. Again, just absolutely smothering Muta. The technical prowess of Giant Baba is nearly unmatched for someone his size. And that is due in part to the training that he underwent when in America, actually. He was trained by Karl Gotch, who we saw earlier on tonight's card have a dominant victory over Rick Rude in a match that needed to be stopped by the referee. We do hope that Rick Rude is able to compete in the future. Has to be looking for an avenue to take back the momentum. Unsurprisingly, Baba has been able to take a early lead, so to speak, in this matchup and gain a lot of momentum. He's been on the offensive for the majority of the beginning 5 minutes. But look, Muta trying to chop down the tree that is Giant Baba. He's working on the legs of the giant. Good strategy for sure. Again, he has tricks up his sleeves at all times. And look at what he has, a foreign object in hand. He is not afraid to use it and abuse it. And now Baba is busted open. And he is painting the mat red, much like both of these competitors' trunks. And an arm bar by Baba. He's able to get such torque and leverage due to his size on those arm bars. It's no wonder he's made it a staple of his offense, as he can thrust his hips upwards and create a fulcrum that few other superstars are able to create with his frame and size. Perhaps Muta is trying to play the long game and wear down Baba by making him run the ropes. I've seen crazier strategies come to fruition here on TCW, and it wouldn't be the worst idea. Baba certainly has a lot of weight to be carrying around, although he is in great physical condition for his size. And he missed with the big boot, but not the big chop. And what a clothesline by Giant Baba. Another giant chop as we eclipse the 10-minute mark. And you can tell Baba wants an opportunity to make it onto the TCW roster, as he has been on a tear as of late, putting on tremendous matchups and dominant displays on the house show loops. Now Muta takes a page out of the book of Giant Baba and goes for a pin. Maybe that was more of a mental strategic move to get a mental edge, so to speak, than strategic. And he connects with the mist. And Baba continues to suck air, and this is a burst of energy from Muta. He's starting to regain some momentum. He is really taking it to Baba. And he's still, and now both competitors are doubled over. Muta not able to completely swing the momentum back in his path, but it is a different matchup. For sure, Baba was in complete control before, and now Muta is starting to wrestle the driver's seat away from Baba. Or perhaps the steering wheel, for the lack of a better term. I mean, this match seemed completely lost for Muta, but his strategy might come to fruition. And now he's biting the forehead of the already busted open Baba, showing no respect for one of the legends of Japanese wrestling. And this wrestling match has turned into an all-out brawl here on this TCW house show. And another chop by Baba. And we've seen this time and time again by Muta, and perhaps he will be able to take full advantage this time and steal the match away from Baba. He connects with the moonsault. And more mist. And like a fire-breathing dragon, needs to take a second before he's able to connect with more offense, and he is woozy. Baba misses with the drop kick. And man, I am starting to wonder whether either competitor will be able to completely put the other one away. And Muta goes for a pin here. And that's it. What a tremendous victory by Muta, in what will certainly raise his stock on the main roster for TCW. And no doubt, a big win for him. But certainly not a terrible display by Baba. It was a valiant effort and a 5-star match, which will definitely keep the scouts talking about Baba despite the loss, which is obviously the goal for these free agents on the house show loop. And for tonight's main event, we'll be seeing another TCW star take on a free agent, as Bret the Hitman Hart is set to take on Lou Thez. And this should be a masterclass in mat wrestling, technical wrestling, and submissions. Hopefully a tremendous main event, and I'm not sure how they will be able to one-up that co-main event or second to last match, but if anyone could, this combination certainly strikes me as one that would. And again, what a big victory for Muta. It certainly seemed like Baba was just going to dominate him, but his strategy came to fruition. He was able to outlast the much larger giant Baba. But this matchup between Muta, or rather Thez and Bret Hart, is going to have no shortage of stamina. I think these competitors have been training for each other. And are not going to let their gas tanks hold them back, and the ref is down right off the bat. What effect will this have on the match? That is not the first time we've seen the ref go down, but that is certainly the earliest I've ever seen the ref go down in a matchup. Both competitors are content to keep it a clean matchup, as that would have been the opportune time to take advantage of the ref being incapacitated. And Lou Thesz trying to take the matchup to Bret Hart right off the bat. Nice forearm there by Lou Thesz. A hip toss by Bret. While these competitors might be separated by generations, their style is not as different as one would expect. In fact, they have quite similar mat-based submission styles, probably due in part to Bret Hart's training in the Hart Dungeon by his father. Who would wrestle in the same generation as Lou Thesz. And we know Stu Hart would certainly be in attendance, cheering on his son Bret against one of the absolute legends of wrestling, who has applied an STF to Bret Hart. And you can see both competitors are taking pages out of each other's textbook. They've certainly been studying the same classes, taking the same notes. But Lou Thesz just seems better prepared in the early stages of this matchup. Perhaps Bret needs to settle in. I mean, there's certainly two skills to have as wow. Lou Thesz just drops Bret on his head from that power bomb. There's the ability to game plan well and come in with a keen strategy, and then there's the ability to adapt in the later stages of the matchup. And Bret Hart is certainly going to have to adapt here or face a loss against a free agent trying to make his way onto the roster. And you know Lou Thesz wants to pick up a marquee victory here over Bret the Hitman Hart, which would raise his draft stock. Neither competitor is going to be willing to give up a loss, but someone will be going home with an L tonight to end this house show. A sleeper hold applied by Lou. He has applied numerous submissions, and Brett has barely been able to keep up. And look at that monkey flip by Bret Hart. Not a move we see him pull off every night, but it's always a special one when he does. He's looking to switch up stylistically, perhaps to better combat Lou Thesz's style, and he wins with a side suplex in which Bret landed high and tight on his head and neck. And my goodness, not a fluke, I would say, but a flash KO of sorts. And Lou Thesz picks up a marquee victory in the main event against Bret Hart. That is going to raise his stock tremendously. And what a shock and awe spectacle to end the night. And folks, I hope that you did enjoy tonight's house show. If you did, I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed. We're going to have a bunch of content like this coming up on the Flippity Floop. Again, comment and any of your concerns, questions, recommendations. I would like to hear what the fans are thinking. And again, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for what is on the horizon for TCW. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up for you, and I hope that you did enjoy. Goodbye, y'all.